YouTube? It's your girl DeeDee. Welcome or welcome back to the channel. So I'm back with another reaction video. Now this woman says that her ex-boyfriend is broke and all he does is sit around and play video games. I want to play this clip and I want to get your thoughts on this one. Definitely chime in the comments below, y'all. Also share and like the video and hit that bell to be notified when I upload new content. All right, make sure you guys are doing that. But let me play for you what she had to say and let me know what you think in the comments below. Here we go.
I want to hear something sad. I just got off the phone with my ex. And I should not be talking to him because I said I was over him. But I get in the stages where I miss him. So when he called me, I answered the phone. And I know I shouldn't. But that's another story for another day. But anywho, his birthday is tomorrow. So I asked him, I said, you know, your birthday tomorrow. So what you doing? And he was like, I ain't doing nothing. I was like, what you mean you're not doing nothing? You know, you're turning 34. And I know last year you told me that you would like to go to Atlanta, you know, take a trip. And then he was like, I ain't got the money for it. I was like, how you don't have the money for it? Like, you've been talking about this. So, you know, what happened to the money that you should have been saving all this time? So he was like, well, bills. You know, I got to pay bills. That's why I hadn't been able to save because of bills that I got to pay. And I was like, that just disgusted me, because this is the problem. This is one of the main problems we had when we was together. You know, like, where is your ambition? Where is your go-getter? Where is your thrive, like, to go get more money at? So I told him, I said, you got to stop blaming bills, because bills are always going to be there. You know, it's up to you to be able to pay your bills, have money in your pocket, and be able to save. And I told him, I said, you got to get your money up. Like, you know, what you doing? And I know what he's doing. I know him. You know, I've been with him for 3 years. And I know he's on the game for 13, 14, 15 hours. Y'all, I kid you not. How you on the game that long? You're finna be 34 tomorrow. How are you on the game for that long and you broke?
Now, I would have to say that is a bit excessive. You know, if she's really being honest about what she's saying, that's a bit excessive. 13, 14 hours on the game is a bit excessive when you don't have any money. If you are barely paying your bills and you don't have money for savings or you don't have money for anything else, come on now. That's equivalent to the fat guy in the basement sitting there playing video games, eating chips, right? Just wasting his life away, sitting there not doing anything. Now, I hear women all the time talk about men don't have any ambition. And when they're usually saying that, they're talking about a man who actually has a job, who actually does well for himself. They just want him to keep leveling up, keep it leveling. And y'all know how I feel about that. I'm like, nah, if he's comfortable in his career or his job and he's taking care of himself and he's doing well for himself, the expectation of a woman saying, oh, you need to meet my level of what I think is success, I think that that's ridiculous. This is where I think when you coming into a relationship, you're supposed to pull your resources together and y'all work together. But if you are somebody who's just not, you're barely making it and you got time to play games 13 and 14, you could definitely do something a little bit more to enhance your outcome, to do something better with yourself and give you, you know, the comfortability that you desire. You know, it doesn't have to be contingent upon a woman. It's just for your own self-preservation. You know, as a man, you want to make sure that you're stable to take care of yourself and potentially a family, right? So I think women do look at that. Women do look at men to provide and things of that nature. But if you're sitting back and you're barely making it and you're complaining about it and there's things that you want to do for yourself, and you're not getting up doing it because the game has you stuck, then that is definitely something you have to work on. There's no way any person should condone that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking, if you got money and your bills are paid and you have what you need and you have what you want, then you're good. It shouldn't be a certain number on that. You know what I'm saying? And nobody else should have to pressure you to do more. But I think that's something that you as a person, you want to be able to provide in a decent way for yourself, right? Any person will look at that and be like, nah, come on, you got to get off that game for 13 hours and you got to do something more to make sure you have what you want and what you need, right? Right, let's continue.
You broke. I could understand if you're getting paid to stream while you on the game, but that 12, 13, 14 hours that you are on the game, you could be using that time to learn a high income skill. You could be using that time to find a side hustle, to go cut somebody grass, or to pick up somebody leaves off the ground or something. You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm just glad that guy got me out that relationship. Like nothing really changing about my ex. I be, be want to talk to him and catch up on things, but ain't nothing changing about that man. And it's sad, but I'm glad God delivered me from that atmosphere, like that energy that he brought, because he's like has like laziness upon him and not wanting to do anything and just wanting to stay the same. He have like stagnation upon him, and that was all the things I desperately prayed and asked God to deliver me from, because I did not want it to be like that. And I'm not like that, so it's just something that just disgusted me. I think I shouldn't pick up the phone next time.
And now, I like I said, normally, there's a lot of women that come on these apps and they're like, oh my God, he's doing the bare minimum and he needs to level up. Yeah, he got a job, he got this, he makes good money, but he should want more. No, this is a bit different. This, if she's honest, it seems like he is kind of, stagnant. Like he's not really doing enough for the things that he even wants in his life. And I don't know, a lot of times it could be issues mentally that they're dealing with, that they don't necessarily talk to the women about. For whatever reason it is, he's definitely going to have to get out of that. It sounds like he's in a funk. People fall into those situations where they just feel lost or they don't know what to do or whatever, and they get stuck. But even if he's streaming or he's playing games and he's making money from it, and if it's not, but it's not enough to get him where he wants to be, definitely I would say go out and do something else. Find something else to do to bring you some more income in, so that you can build your resources, so that you can actually have the money that you need to do things that you want to do and to build yourself up, because you would definitely feel better about yourself by doing so. A lot of times you can get stuck in these positions to where you just feel stuck. And I think as adults that happens. Women and men feel stuck. They feel like, hey, they've tried something that didn't work out and they're just stuck, And I think that's a normal place to be sometimes in life. A lot of people go through it, but you got to find yourself, find a way to get out of that, because you could be stuck in that place for years. And it's not really beneficial. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know the dynamics of their relationship when they were in a relationship. She said they were there for 3 years and it seems like he was still having that issue. I don't know if she was motivational to him or tried to find ways to get him out of that situation. Because to me, I think when men go through depression, it looks different from women, because men aren't as vocal. They don't talk about their issues. They kind of find ways to cope and deal with it. And he could have been going through a depression or a moment where he needed some motivation or support. And I think that's where women come in. I think the areas where women could be more supportive and nurturing, a lot of times we miss that opportunity. So I don't know what she did, but what I'm saying is it's always not the time to walk away from the man, especially if somebody you care about. That's the time to pour into him and nurture and motivate him to get up to do better. And I don't know if she did that or not, but that's what you do. And now, I mean, once you've done that and you've helped him in that way and he still just doesn't want to do anything, then there's nothing more you could do. He has to do it in his own time, and he has to realize, the position that he's in. Like you can only do so much, but I just think, that is a lot of times that's the place where you as the woman in his life is supposed to be the nurturing and supportive one to kind of, get him out of that place and do things to motivate him to get out of that place and be there as support, But, and I don't know if this is her case. I'm just saying in general, a lot of times that's when women walk away. When men need you the most is a lot of times when women walk away, because women don't understand the concept of helping a man. They're like, oh, as a man, you're supposed to be able to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. And not saying that they shouldn't and that they can't, but women just have this innate mindset of, oh, I can't help a man. Men are just, they're men. They supposed to be able to do it all and consistently do it all. They shouldn't falter. They shouldn't fail. That's not, as a man, you can't do that. But sometimes they do. And if you're the loving spouse of that person, you're supposed to be there to support them. They are human beings. They have issues as well. And a lot of times you have to be empathetic with them and kind of nurture them through it. And then when they come out, they have more love and respect for you because you didn't walk away. You stayed with them to help them. They just needed a little help. So I want to know y'all thoughts on this. Do you think that he's just lazy based off what she said? Or do you think there's something else going on to where he's kind of in a rough spot? And will he eventually pull through that? I want to know your thoughts on this. Make sure you chime in the comments. I want to hear your thoughts on it. Comment, like, subscribe, hit that bell. You know what it is. And I will catch y'all in the next one. Bye.